Hi, well, this is CoinsKid. Going to dive into Vechain, VET versus USD. Once again, thank you for your continued support. Okay, really do appreciate everything you do to contribute towards the growth of CoinsKid. Sharing is caring. Keep doing what you're doing to help build the community. Okay, thank you very much. So right now, looking at Vechain, you can see it's performing really well. It's above a 20 EMA. Okay, on a weekly time frame. And like I said to you, if you're above a 20, you're in an uptrend. If you're below, you're in a downtrend. And if you're caught between, just like Bitcoin is at the moment, you consolidating effectively, and it's just a big signal to that. So right now it's looking relatively healthy. You got the ABC correction. Hopefully we've carried that ABC correction out. We've had a very large C wave correction, and we're now starting to form the fifth wave, because you can see if we start to form this fifth wave here and we start to march onwards and upwards, you're going to get to that $1.50, aren't you? In this bull run we find ourselves in for Vechain and crypto. It is all on Bitcoin. There is some specific key levels on Bitcoin at the moment that if it does lose those particular levels, do check out the Bitcoin video, because if it does start to roll, then obviously, as you're fully aware, you're experiencing the market right now, that nothing stands aside from Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin does roll, it drags the market down a bit. So do anticipate a deeper bit of a correction right there, where hopefully if we do go through another correction, we just come down and we do just make a higher low, which is confluence of the fact that you are continuing an uptrend, because that's what you want to see. You want to see the higher lows, okay? And obviously, you know you're going to come back down. You're not just going to go take off into space from here, okay? Would be nice, but always anticipate that you come down to make a high lows, because that's how it all works, okay? Swing high, swing low, swing high, swing low, like that. And as long as you're making high lows, and higher highs, you're good. You're in an uptrend. And one thing to confluence of that fact is when you're above this yellow line on the weekly EMA, it's golden right there. So far so good. Vechain's doing relatively well, and hopefully in this bull run we get up to that level, okay? And the one thing you've got to remind yourself of is time. You've got time on your hands here, and you know, people get pissed off because I'll lay down a price prediction, it doesn't get there in the next hour. You know, these things take time. And just remember that, okay? So that's Vechain on the weekly. I'm going to look at Vechain on the hourly right now to see what's going on with it, okay? So Vechain on the hourly time frame yesterday was anticipating a break of this bear bull pennant. Look, it was bull pennant. When it's trading like that, you got higher lows, okay, and higher lows and lower highs. Do you see that? And it's effectively trading in a channel like that. And look, you come towards the apex and you got the break. But unfortunately, it wasn't a continuation, was it? And do anticipate that. That's why I would say trade on the break. You want to look for the break, the back test of support, because you're turning resistance into support for continuation, and that's where you would have seen that breakout and that continuation right there. But you've seen the breakdown. This was because of a correction on Bitcoin. Bitcoin tanked quite a bit and it dragged the market down a bit, but luckily we found support. And as you can see, the support was found not only on the 20 EMA, but it was also found on the previous level of resistance from the inverse head and shoulders that we're in. And like I said to you, the pattern that's in play is valid until invalidated away, and right now we are carrying out this inverse head and shoulders pattern. We've broken up, we've come back, we've held the support of the previous resistance of this neckline of this inverse head and shoulders, and right now you can see we're bouncing off it really well, and we're holding it support. We're holding the support of the 55 on the hourly as well. So hopefully if we continue to adhere to support and the EMAs as they creep up, it's going to force you up to eventually come to this target off this inverse head and shoulders, because this is the target. Do you see this? Just there like that, and you broke the neckline of resistance, it gives you a target, and that's the inverse head and shoulders target. So if we can continue to hold support, this is where you will see Vechain eventually get there, okay? And there's a lot of projects that have done this, that have created these inverse head and shoulders off this bottom here that we've found ourselves in over the past week or so for crypto. A lot of the patterns and projects that have been created is an inverse head and shoulders, and Chainlink is one of those. It's literally like 5% off from actually getting to its target. But Chainlink's really bullish at the moment because of obviously Arbitrum. Do look into that. That's a separate entity, isn't it? But I will try and make a Chainlink video update for you today. But yeah, Chainlink's almost already got there. So do anticipate if we can find more health in the market and Bitcoin doesn't actually roll, then you will see Vechain get into that particular target eventually. So right here from there to that target is another whopping 26% appreciation for Vechain, and so far there's no reason to believe that we are actually not going to carry out that pattern, because like I said to you in so many of these updates, okay, the pattern that's in play is validated until invalidated away, and the only way to invalidate this is lose this level of support, okay, the previous resistance of a neckline of the inverse head and shoulders, lose that as support and start to roll, then you're losing it, okay? And especially if you create a lower low than this head, okay, because that's what it is. You've got this pattern here like this, okay, and it's reversal pattern. Now the way to invalidate it is obviously start to lose the support because you've broken it as resistance, and if you start to come down and you're making a lower low than this, boom, the pattern's out the window. Do you see that? And reversal's out the window, and you've actually sort of gone up and rolled over still. So far it's so good for Vechain, okay, and it's looking relatively healthy for continuation. Other than Bitcoin rolling, there's no reason to think that it wouldn't, okay. So right now, what have we got on the card? So again, if you do start to lose this level of support right now, and this changes as well, obviously, because it's an ascending channel of support. Do you see this? It's an ascending trend line of support. If you do start to see Vechain sort of lose this trend line, and obviously the 55 EMA, because you can see it's creeping up right now, and don't forget this is the hourly time frame. If you do start to see it lose, then I would anticipate you're going to roll over to at least come to this particular trend line, okay, which was previous resistance there, and support, because that's what happens. You're going to come back down and test the previous level of support. So if you do, and it is a big if, okay, if you do start to see Vechain lose the 55 EMA, do put in a little short, roughly 10%, to at least come down and test that particular trend line right there. And as you can see, that particular trend line, that's the actual price target of that trend line just there. Do you see that? So yeah, if you do start to see Vechain roll over here, do anticipate a retest of this support, and it's a cheeky little short for you, okay? Again, I'm going to drop this out now, tidy this up because that can go. But hopefully, hopefully here, Vechain can get the pickup. It's been really well supported, and like I said to you, if you do continue here, then do anticipate you're going to at least come up to that level, and like I said to you, from here, right now, if you're holding support, you're looking at a further 24% appreciation for Vechain right there, okay? So yeah, that's basically Vechain in a nutshell. So far so good. As it rolled yesterday, it's found support, it's holding support. There does look like there's a pattern forming here. What I'm going to do is just look on the 4-hourly time frame right here and see what that looks like. Okay, so some would say that this is a bit of a bull flag. Okay, it looks bad that you're falling down. Okay, but what you're doing is you're testing a key level of support. So you're making the lower highs. Okay, and you're making these lower lows as well. Do you see that? But you're sort of doing something like this, okay, where you're trading, hitting resistance, holding support, and you can see you're holding the supported EMAs as well. You do have a breakout target of that particular bull flag, okay, and as you can see, this was the original target out of that bull pennant, which it broke down. You can see if you do break out the bull flag at any point, this is where you can see more upside for Vechain. So do anticipate that particular breakout for Vechain, okay, because that would be lovely in continuation right now in the markets for Vechain. So that's basically a little update for Vechain. We're back tomorrow with another update, but right now do anticipate that if you do lose that level of support that we've given you of this upper trend line, okay, of the neckline of the inverse head and shoulders, if you do lose that, then go short. Lose support, go short. And if we can break out this resistance right now, this sort of bull flag that we've got on the go for Vechain, where you're hitting a higher level of resistance, do anticipate a nice little long up towards that target there, carrying out that pattern and the full extension there. It's all good. Fingers crossed we get the break to the upside that we need. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.